Welcome everyone. This is a Gundam trading card game battle review and a bit of a highlight of my blue-green Operation Meteor control deck. At the time of recording, this is during the new type challenge season, with the legal set being GD01, new type rising, and the 4 starter decks that were released with it. I'm not a professional, just a guy having fun and playing with some chill people. If you enjoy what you see, please like and subscribe and stay tuned for more content. Without further ado, let's get started. So, we start off with a die roll, which I do win. My opponent rolls fairly low, which is unfortunate for them. Don't know it until, but it is a green-white blocker list, and pretty standard, nothing too special. It is exactly what you'd expect, though I do believe they are running Launcher Strike within it. But I don't know if we see it in this battle. I do not like my hand, so I do mulligan. My opponent does keep their hand, and I draw Amuro, Zaku 2, Amuro, sorry, 2 Amuros, a Zaku 2, the Rizal, and a Show of Resolve, which is a pretty good starting hand, if I do say so myself. So I shuffle up, and I get ready to present. My opponent will be opening it up for us, as I chose to go second, as one should in this current meta. Even if you do play pretty well on the first turn, you actually just really want to not have your opponent get that second turn start. It's not really much else to say. It doesn't really change too much. Maybe in the future things will change, because it's already seeing like aggro does play pretty well on turn 1. So my opponent starts us off. He draws, lays out his EX or his resource, passes the turn, and goes to me pretty much. I draw another Zaku 2, which is actually really good. The obvious play is pretty much playing one of my. Oh, it's not a Zaku 2. Sorry, a Zaku 1. Why am I bad at this? It's okay. Opponent gets the next turn here. Nothing too crazy from them. It's actually kind of a slow start. They get they're doing an overflowing affection, and that's why I do get the signal that they are playing green-white. So I am gonna put the pedal to the metal here and be a little aggressive, which is where I decided to go here. So I do debate on the Zaku, but I eventually decide to play the Rizal. Just deciding better of it, especially if they play another blocker, or a blocker at once. Bust down their base, and we're off to a pretty aggressive start here. They finally get a blocker down, and, you know, it's a Lefrith, which isn't a bad card to get, and they throw down a base. I got my resource here. I draw myself a Death Sight. It's not too bad. So I get to be pretty aggressive on this turn. There were thoughts that maybe I use Amuro onto the Rizal and, you know, tap down their Lefrith, but I decided I wanted to keep my guys in basically fairly strong positions, and also, you know, have my Zaku harder to trade into if it does trade. I take out the Lefrith after tapping it down with the Amuro, and then I dink their shield, or their base rather, for 5 damage here. It's not really where I want to be, but it is some aggression, and it does get me closer towards taking them out. Really, at this point, there's no point in not swinging. They're only going to be at 4 resources. If they play, you know, and then I get my Zaku down. Alright, they got a Zawart and a Lefrith down, which is a pretty good stalling hand. However, my board is looking pretty wide, and we're getting there. I do manage to draw a Gundam off the top, which is excellent for me. The only thing better here would have been a gun cannon. But the obvious play really is to drop that Gundam down, and then pair it up with the Amuro. I am going to... Yeah, I'm definitely going to be playing the Amuro here. Going through the thought process ahead of time, the decision to tap down the Lefrith was just so they had a worse trade. I wanted to offer them the ability to... I wanted to see if they wanted to deal more damage to the Gundam, or if they were just going to let it slide, and then I would be able to just offer up my trades as best as I could. They did decide eventually to block with the they're gonna eventually decide to block the Gundam that I'm gonna swing in with. I do try to see if they take the bait with the Zaku. They obviously do not. However, I will see if they want to block the Gundam onto the Lefrith, which they don't. And then I offer up the Rizal, which is kind of a good trade for them. The Zaku probably would have been better, but they do decide that the Rizal was a bigger threat, so swing in and pretty much pass my turn here. I'm looking pretty solid with a Death Scythe, a Show of Resolve, and a base in hand. I do like my board state currently. The Ale Strike does come in with a Kira. Now, my opponent bounces my piloted one. I think it probably would have just been better to bounce the single Zaku, because the trade would have been better for him, so I think this was misplay. It did help me because I got my pilot back, right? So he takes out my Gundam. And passes his turn. He's tapped out, so I get to go into my next turn feeling pretty strong. Get to my level 6, and we see where we go, but there isn't a whole lot to do here from my hand, so I'm pretty sure I'm just going to Show of Resolve and play my Zaku. I did get the gun cannon paired for the Amuro, which I'm going to hold on to now pretty intentionally. The nice thing is I did get a Path to Victory defeat. I make the trade with the Zaku. It's a good trade for me, in my opinion. Frees him up, makes him have to have something again, and yeah, I'd forgotten to tap down my resource there. I'm kind of bad about that sometimes. Not that it really mattered here, but I see what I do. I do see some pretty good things. I have a Death Scythe in hand, so I do opt to take the Duo Maxwell. Putting Duo in my hand, I pass my turn. I actually end up the turn with 6 cards, which is pretty good considering my opponent is running... I think they're at 4 cards now. So I am winning the card attrition. They have a hero. Takes out my Zaku, which was unfortunate. It's what I wasn't hoping to happen, but it was possible. I guess they had 5 cards now after the draw, so they're down to 4 cards in hand. No, 6 cards. Okay, so they have 4 cards in hand. I do have a pretty strong hand to follow up with. I will hope that they don't have an unforeseen incident, tossing out my Death Scythe with Duo, which I'm sure they anticipated given I took the Duo. I do get the good trade here. They don't have anything to stop me. So there's Death Scythe in the mirror match. And I just replaced my base, and I'm going to take that shield to hand. And turned out to be in Show of Resolve, and that's an insanely good one to pull off of that. The one good thing about this deck is it is, you know, blue-green, so I get the some card advantage in the game, legitimate card advantage, with Unforeseen. Or sorry, Show of Resolve. As long as I can dodge their Unforeseens. So he gets another Wing Gundam out, and a Zawart. So here's something that this play coming up here is actually a pretty big play for this deck. And it's actually one of the main reasons I opted to even play a deck like this over the typical green-white. I actually drew a Gundam here, which is pretty good. However, it's not something that I really need, and this is where the Gun Cannon Amuro combo comes into play. I do sit here reading some things a little bit. I have a second base in my hand. I'm not too stoked about it, but I can't complain being as far ahead as I am. So I tapped down the Zawart, and I also tapped down the Wing Gundam with Amuro. Just letting him know that I get to tap 2 cards down because Amuro and Gun Cannon. So I take 3 on the Gun Cannon, which, you know. And then I'm able to swing into his Wing Gundam with a superior trade here. Having some trouble with the die. I'm very bad at turning my thing sideways. I actually make a mistake here. I'm supposed to tap 3 resources. I'm realizing it now as I'm looking at this. I'm very bad. I'm sorry. And then I should have popped my EX. I don't believe it mattered in this situation because I had my EX at the very end of the game anyways. But that is the unfortunate... That was an unfortunate mistake. I should have lost that EX. That's on me. I end off the turn with 2 Wing Gundam Zeros, a Duo, and a base in my hand. Starting in with a pretty powerful position. He does kill my Gun Cannon. And deals 3 to my Gundam. Do have a pretty decent position here. So I get my own, I have a bunch of Wing Zero Gundams in my hand. And honestly, I'm not really inclined to play them out right now. I'm just gonna let him, I'm gonna see what he has there. Just gonna pop some shields a little bit. He's got 3 cards in hand. I'm feeling pretty okay. He does get a Duo. Does make me think of a Death Scythe. I'm a little weary, but I decide that I'd rather see him play things out if he has things and not drop a Wing Gundam. And I play a little conservative. There's some good arguments that maybe I play Wings Gundam Zero out now, just to put some more pressure on him, but I didn't really want to go down a card just to do that type of pressure. I do get the repair off on the Gundam. I'm holding a pretty decent hand, so... We hold off there. Again, that resource at the end, last turn, I feel bad about it, having seen it now. That's my bad. I'll try and do better than that next time. I don't usually make that mistake, honestly, but I don't know how I miscounted. That's just me being really bad at the game, I guess. Bad at math, what can I say? And honestly, so this matchup is about a lot of attrition. I'm holding a pretty decent hand, but I do have to be patient, so I have to bide my time a little bit. And there's the Death Scythe into things, and he's going to basically clear my board here. It's gonna suck a little bit. I'm not too thrilled about it, honestly. So I draw my third Wing Gundam Zero, and I mean, I'm not complaining about it. I am not getting maximum value, however, he is a big boy, and I do have a hero Yui in hand, so, you know, this time I use my resources right. We keep going from there, and we pair the Wing Gundam Zero to hero. And I believe we opt to take out their Wing Gundam Zero. Because if they decide to take out ours, they have to trade. And generally the trade is going to be better. I'd rather get their high maneuver character off the board. He's also pretty big, so he's got 6 health. 6 health, more damage. If I decide to play another Wing Gundam Zero or something, it's, you know, we're not looking great. Plus the trade-off here is arguably better. I take 8 onto my guy and he survives, right? So we can't really complain about that. And then from here we pass the turn. Our hand's looking a little bit worse, but it's also, I mean, you can't really scoff at 3 Wing Gundams. Wing Gundam Zeros, rather. My opponent's also been top decking pretty good, considering they haven't seen as many show of resolves as I have. If any at all, honestly. They can't, so... They do get, there it is. There is the launcher strike in there, and that does get a pretty good crash into my guy. Does do a trade-off, which is a little unfortunate, but it was a 2-for-1 effectively. I got a lot of value off the Wing Gundam Zero there, taking out their piloted one as well as launcher strike with Akira. So you can't really complain too much. I do have a shield a base to play here, so I play the base, get the shield to my hand, which actually ends up being a Zaku, which is not bad at all. I play down another Gundam, Wing Zero, sorry, and end up turning things sideways. And refilling my board and putting my opponent at basically 2 cards. They play an Overflowing Affection. Debating what to cut or what to discard here. This was an interesting choice. Can't remember what they had in hand in the end, but kind of feel like the blocker was a little more useful. But they do wipe out a Zaku. They take out my shield again, or my base again, sorry. Swinging 4 shields. I don't have any more resources, I'm at 11, so honestly, at this point, I don't think that EX resource really came into play, but it remains to be seen. I've got the Wing Zero down still. I do pilot Duo onto him. And then I actually go in to trade. Or not trade, to take out his Death Scythe. Taking 6 onto my Wing Gundam. Or my Wing Gundam Zero, rather. I didn't tap my resources, and that's, again, my bad, but I only played 5, so... we just weren't at this point. We're caring too much. My opponent opts to actually hit my shield instead of my character, and then plays 2 Ale Strikes down, which wasn't too bad. I do, however, get a Show of Resolve off the top, which really helps me. I go digging. This is where the card advantage of this deck really shines. I got a Rizal and an Amuro, so I did manage to get a pretty strong open set of cards. I think I'm still holding back the Wing Zero, so I'm pretty much playing the Rizal and playing the Amuro. I'm tapping down one of their Ale Strikes. And so I do make the decision here. I use my high maneuver to take out their base. And then if they decide to block with the Ale Strike, even though I'm going to go after their other Ale Strike right now, you know, I'm going to get the burst on their shield. And, you know, just some discussion of which Ale Strike I was going for, you know, remembered, you know, I can't attack a level 5, it's only level 4 or lower. And then from here, I'll put down a Rizal. And I believe I opt to put the duo on the Rizal, so he has enough HP in order to survive both getting bounced and also surviving a Wing Zero off the top. Now, with one card in hand, which ended up being an Overflowing Affection, there wasn't any way for them to rush through to me. So, unless they happen to get a blocker here, I do have game locked down. Trades my high maneuver character, which makes perfect sense in this scenario. And then decides what he's going to do. I'm not too sure what the thought process and the deliberation was here, because as he reveals soon, it wasn't really it wasn't a blocker or anything he could rush with, so just a Wing Gundam. He does opt to play it out, and swings in and, you know, has nothing to continue. Alright, that was it, guys, so see you in the next one.